story I have to tell you is a strange one. I'll try to tell it to you as simply as I can. We won't be disturbed. Not for a few hours anyway. My name is Murphy. Yet I've been found guilty of the murder of Murphy. And they say my name is Kelly. Kelly was my boss. We were both taxidermists. I suppose you probably just think that means stuffing animals. It's difficult to convey to the layman the complexities and subtleties of a taxidermist's art, that such a profession should combine the qualities of the zoologist, the naturalist, the chemist, the sculptor, and the carpenter. Anyway, Kelly ran the business. I was his assistant. He was a swinish, overbearing man, a brute, a bully. He hated me. But he enjoyed his hatred far too much to ever think of sacking me. You see, he knew I had an interest in the work, that it was more than just a job for me. And so, for this very reason, he gave me all the commonplace jobs. If some old lady brought her favourite terrier in to be done, well, that was mine. Dogs, cats, Shetland ponies, white, bloody rabbits. They were all strictly my department. But if a crocodile came in, or a great Borneo spider, or, as on one occasion, a giraffe, well, Kelly kept all those for himself. Another thing was my smoking. For years in that tiny workshop, Kelly taunted me about my smoking. This place smells like a sewer. Murphy, you've been smoking those damn cigarettes again, huh? I impersonated Kelly well. I enjoyed doing so behind his back. Matters, however, came to a head one day when Kelly was in even filthier temper than usual. I spent the morning finishing a cat, which I placed on a shelf with the other completed orders. I could feel Kelly glaring at it. Where's the tail, huh? I explained that it was a Manx cat and therefore had no tail. How do you know it's a Manx cat? How do you know it's not an orderly classic cat that's been involved in some kind of a motor accident or something? But you wouldn't know about that, would you, Murphy? Oh no, 'cause you're a bit of a slob, boy. This fool called me a slob. Well, on that occasion something snapped inside me. I could almost feel it snap. This ignorant creature was bending over to put on his bicycle clips. I picked up a spanner from one of the work tables and walked up slowly behind him. He turned around and looked at me. Looked at the spanner, looked back at me again. And the ghost of a sneer shivered across his ignorant puss. Slowly, I drew back the spanner, and I struck him across the head. He slumped over with a cry, and I hit him again. Blow after blow after blow, I rained down on him. I dropped the spanner stood there breathing hard. Kelly lay quite still. There was no pulse. Oh, he was dead all right. I had killed him. I was his murderer. Now, for a long time after that, I walked up and down the workshop, trying to think of what to do next. At first, I thought I could make it look like there'd been a robbery. You know, mess the place up a bit, get rid of a few of the more expensive instruments, that sort of thing. Ken comes to work, disturbs the burglars, they panic and do him in. Murphy comes to work, dead body, great shock and sadness, funeral. Ah, he was a lovely man. He'll be sorely missed. But sure, life goes on, I suppose. And all will be game ball. But I wasn't convinced I could carry it off. I mean, they're very thorough, these detective types, aren't they, with their forensics and their profiling and their fingerprints and all the rest of it. Now, tell me again, where were you when the crime actually took place? And did anybody see you? Now, tell me in general, how did you get along with the victim? And let's go over it all again. Before you know it, you've said the wrong thing. Made a mistake, some inconsistency in your story. Next thing you know, you're standing in court looking up at the old fellow with the white wig and the black cap. I lit a cigarette to calm my nerves. And as I was standing there, smoking and thinking and smoking, a mad idea began to form in my head. Now, at first, this may seem incredible to you, unbelievable, even grotesque, but I decided that I would treat Kelly's body the same way I would treat any dead creature that came into the workshop. It's funny, once you accede to a certain climate of horror, the difference between one abomination and another seems slight. Perhaps even irrelevant. I made my preparations that evening, and the following morning I commenced work. Now, I won't bore you with the gruesome details, but suffice to say, I used the same technique and flame pattern as applicable to apes. 4 days later, I had the perfect skin, face and all. I then committed the remains of, well, so to speak, the remains to the workshop furnace. You see, I knew that Kelly had no relatives and very few friends, and so it was my idea to have him seated asleep in an armchair for the benefit of any visitors to the workshop. I discarded this idea as too dangerous. And then another idea began to form. I decided that I would don Kelly's skin whenever the occasion arose. Become Kelly. His clothes fitted me. Why not his skin? Another day was spent making alterations and adjustments. But that evening, I was able to look in the mirror and see Kelly staring back at me. I put on his clothes and went out for a walk. I received salutations from newsboys and others who had known him. Good evening, how do you do? I was foolhardy enough to go to his lodgings, where his half-witted landlady wanted to know where I'd been. What? Hasn't that fool Murphy told you? I've been down the country for a few days. I left strict instructions with that slob to come and tell you. Oh, he's useless, that boy, useless. It worked. I decided to spend the night in Kelly's lodgings. I lay in Kelly's bed, in Kelly's skin. Smoking. And as I lay there, I decided Kelly would make an announcement. Yes, I'm going to Canada yet. I've been offered a very good job there. I've sold the business to the assistant Murphy. I would then burn the skin, own my own business, and have committed the perfect crime. Needless to say, I overlooked something. You see, the mummifying preparations I'd used on the inside of Kelly's skin had been quite adequate for normal procedures, but I'd not allowed for what a night spent in a warm bed would do to it. The truth began to dawn on me the following day when I returned to the workshop and tried to take off Kelly's skin. It wouldn't come off. It had literally fused with my own. Over the following days, this disgusting procedure continued. Kelly's skin began to live again, to breathe, to perspire. The days that followed held some terrible tension. My own landlady showed up wanting to know where I'd been. She said it really wasn't likely and that she was thinking of calling the guards. I didn't dare try to dissuade her in case her suspiciousness overcame her stupidity. But from that moment on, I knew that my Kellyness was complete. It was that or the scaffold. My nerves were in a dreadful state. I hit the jar hard. That night I was in my snooker club. Well, Murphy's snooker club. Having a cigarette and looking at a game, when suddenly I remembered. Well, Kelly didn't smoke, and Kelly didn't like snooker either. Jesus Christ. The shock of it made me hysterical. I behaved inappropriately. And then, from across the room, I saw some of my old pals stare at me, as much as to say, "What's that fella Kelly doing here? And where's Murphy these days? I haven't seen him or heard from him in ages." The next day, two casual gentlemen strolled into the workshop. "Can we have a little chat?" says the big fella. Cigarettes were produced. Yes, they were plain clothes men, making a few routine inquiries. My assistant, Murphy, had been reported missing by several people. Any idea where he might be? No, not at all, no. I haven't seen him. He didn't seem in a mood, no, he was the impetuous type. Yes, I had to reprimand him recently for shoddy work, and on several occasions he's threatened to move to England and get a job there. Yes, I've been down the country myself. Few days down the country, talks of opening a natural history museum, technical matters, that sort of thing. They seemed satisfied and left. However, a few days later they returned with a warrant, searched the premises, questioned me again, and arrested me for the murder of Murphy, myself. They amassed certain bits of evidence, including the remains of some human bones found in the workshop furnace. And I was found guilty and am sentenced to be hanged. Even if I could prove my innocence by showing that Murphy still lives, what good would it do me? Where, they would ask.